Hello guys, how are we all doing? Welcome back to EFL Championship Predictions. The Championship is back this weekend after some crazy midweek action that we are going to be talking about. And I'm joined again by Sophie. How are you?
Yep, very well, thank you. How are you?
Not too bad, thank you. There was some really interesting results in midweek, including a win for our team, of course. We'll come on to that in due course. Before we get into the predictions, guys, do feel free to share your predictions down in the comments. Do make sure, of course, to drop a like. We'll go for 999 likes again. You guys always smash it, so please do hit the thumbs up button. And if you haven't already subscribed, go on, get involved. We are edging closer to 50,000 subscribers, so do make sure to like and subscribe. And let's get into the predictions, Sophie. We are kicking things off at Deepdale, Sophie, where Preston North End take on Queen's Park Rangers. Two sides certainly, at opposite ends of the table, fighting for different things this season. But they come into it in contrasting results, really. Queen's Park Rangers with a fantastic 3-2 home win over Stoke City. They finally won at home, hey?
They did. Didn't you back them to win as well?
I did. I said 2-1. So, I got a point for that, not 2 points. But, QPR, good result. They've looked all right under Cifuentes. And they take on Preston, who have now lost back-to-back games. And it was the way they lost as well to Middlesbrough, Sophie. 4-0.
Yeah, they took a beating.
Yeah, it seems to be Preston's way, though, because although, they take these beatings and they've got this negative goal difference, on the other hand, they'll win, the other games around it by 1 goal. And they're still in the playoff picture, but when they lose hard. I'm going to go for a draw for this one, Sophie. I think QPR come in here with a bit of confidence, might be able to get something from Deepdale. It's not going to be easy. I still make Preston favourites for this, but I have liked QPR under Cifuentes. 1-1.
Yeah, I was really tempted to say a draw as well, to be honest, just because QPR did get a great result at the weekend, so not taking anything away from them. But I feel like Preston have got to bounce back from that. As you say, their goal difference from the position in their table, it doesn't seem right, but they're going to have to get back to winning ways. Being at home as well, I'm going to lean towards them, but not by much. 1-0 Preston. 1-0
Preston.
Yeah.
Interesting. Share your thoughts, guys, on the predictions for Preston versus Queen's Park Rangers. A big game at Deepdale. Let's move on to the next game, Sophie. I like the look of this one. West Bromwich Albion versus Leicester City. West Brom have been hitting some really good form, haven't they?
Very, very good form, yeah.
They've been beating some top teams. Remember, of course, they beat Ipswich Town the previous weekend and they went away to Cardiff and won in midweek. Those two are, very decent sides this season. So West Brom are taking points off good teams. And Leicester City, of course, are a good team. They're top of the league. But they did drop 2 points late on at Sheffield Wednesday.
Yeah, I don't think anyone's seen that coming.
No, credit to Sheffield Wednesday. Not great for Leicester, but to be honest, doesn't change a lot for me. I still think Leicester City are favourites to win the league. If they were to drop points like that consistently, then you might start worrying. To be honest, I'm actually going to say Leicester City don't get anything here. I'm going to go for West Brom, but I still don't think that's the end of the world for Leicester. But West Brom have been really impressing me, and they've been moving quite far up the table. Who knows? They could be competing for top 2. I'll go West Brom 1, Leicester 0.
Okay, I'm actually going to say 2-1 West Brom. I agree. The form they're in at the moment, you think, who can stop them? Possibly Leicester, but I don't see that happening, especially after Leicester dropped points against Sheffield Wednesday, which I was very surprised about. So I don't think the wheels are falling off at Leicester, but I don't see them getting anything from this as well. So 2-1 to the Baggies.
2-1, yeah. I was tempted to go for a draw, I'll be honest, but
no, I don't feel like it's going to be a draw. I feel like either way, to be honest. But yeah, definitely leaning towards Baggies.
There you go. Share your thoughts on the Baggies versus the Foxes in the early Saturday game. Let's move on to a bottom half matchup here, Sophie. Birmingham City versus Rotherham United. Both sides losing in midweek. Rotherham taking an absolute beating at Hull City. They were 4-0 down quite early on.
Yeah, but Rotherham have got that in them, haven't they, to just take a beating.
Yeah, and remember that.
Get something from the next game.
Well, it seems to be their home and away form is very contrasting because they lost the previous away game to that 5-0 at Watford, but before that they drew 1-1 at home to Leeds. They're away for this one, which makes me think I'm going towards Birmingham, but Birmingham not particularly convincing. They got a couple goals at Blackburn but lost 4-2.
Yeah.
Their only win under Wayne Rooney has been at home to Sheffield Wednesday. This is a similar kind of match where I think Birmingham City might just get 3 points again. I'm going to go Birmingham 2, Rotherham 1.
So I'm actually going to say Birmingham 3-1 because Rotherham do take a beating away from home. It is against Birmingham, so possibly not as much of a beating as the last couple of away games. But as we said, Birmingham won against Sheffield Wednesday, so they are better against the bottom of the league, and Rotherham are right down there. So I do see Birmingham winning this one, and fairly convincingly, 3-1.
3-1. Right, interesting. Going from two teams that lost in midweek to two teams that won in midweek, because next up, Sophie, we've got Hull City versus Watford. Really interesting matchup this. Both sides were involved in, some crazy games on Tuesday night. Hull City winning 4-1 against Rotherham. Watford beating Norwich 3-2, coming from behind as well.
Yeah.
Difficult, I think, to be honest, Sophie, but I will just lean towards the home team. I do think Hull City might just pinch this. Watford have been good in spells this season, but ultimately they still sit around mid-table, just need to be that little bit more consistent. But the results in general recently have been an improvement on where they were sort of in, August, September time. But I do like Hull City, and they, I think they generally could make the playoffs this season. I keep saying that, and they keep pulling in the results. Going to go Hull 2, Watford 1.
Yeah, even though Watford won their last one, I don't think you could go against Hull in this one. And they are currently in the top 6. It's a long season, but could they finish in the top 6? They could, of course they could. But Watford are no mugs, to be honest. So I'm going to say a tighter game than their last one. 2-1.
2-1. Okay, interesting. There's a couple more interesting games coming up, Sophie, and one of them is with our team heading to Portman Road. Ipswich Town take on Coventry City, and as Coventry fans, we are a little bit nervous about this one, perhaps, but
Yes.
come into this on the back of a couple of good results. Back-to-back wins has made me think, if we lose this, it's not a total disaster.
I agree.
Not impossible. Coventry could maybe get something here, but it's not going to be easy. Ipswich Town are in the top 2 for a reason. They've been very good. Ipswich went back to winning ways in midweek with their 3-1 win over Millwall. Coventry beat Millwall the weekend before. I'll tell you what, Soph, I think it could be close. I'm going to go with both teams to score, but I'm just giving this one to Ipswich. I think Ipswich, with the home advantage and the fact that they just need to keep churning out points to give themselves a very good chance of getting automatic promotion, they might just do it, but I think Coventry can give it a go. I'll go Ipswich 2, Coventry 1.
Yeah, sadly, I'm actually going to agree with that scoreline. Of course, as a Coventry fan, I'd like to get something from this game, but I don't see it happening. Just the form Ipswich are in, they're just looking very, very good, and I think it'd take a stellar performance to beat them, and it's just whether we've got that in our locker on the day, and I don't know. So I am sadly going against us. I'm saying 2-1 to the Tractor Boys.
2-1 to the Tractor Boys, yeah. Share your predictions for Ipswich versus Coventry. I must point out that I won't be able to cover this game on the channel on Saturday because I am actually at a family event. But good luck to the Sky Blue Army heading down to this one. I'm sure it'll be a good game. On to the next one, Sophie, and how about this for a match-up? We're going to Elland Road for Leeds United versus Middlesbrough. Good match.
Yeah, good matchup.
Certainly going to be interesting in the crowd as well. Two very passionate fan bases locking horns here. But on the pitch, I think it's quite a difficult one to call as well. Middlesbrough have been hurtling towards the playoff picture, and a great result in midweek, 4-0 at home to Preston. Leeds United, they went back to winning ways with a 3-1 win over Swansea. You did call that one.
I did.
So well done on that. This is difficult. So for me, this one could be a draw. I just wonder, because I think Middlesbrough this season, it's about getting in the playoffs. Leeds United, it's about getting in the top 2. Therefore, Leeds United maybe need to maintain the higher standards. Is that a lot to go off? I don't know. But Leeds United have obviously lost less games than Middlesbrough. They're higher in the table, and they have the home advantage. I like both of these teams, but I'm just going to go with the home side. I'm going to go for an entertaining game, Sophie. Leeds 3, Middlesbrough 2.
Ooh, okay, I'm going for an entertaining one as well, but I'm going to sit on the fence here. I'm finding it really, really hard to separate the two. Maybe if I was to lean towards any side, it would be the home side, but Middlesbrough have been in good form and they're on the up. So for me, it's going to end a draw. An entertaining Desmond 2-2.
Ooh, chucking in a Desmond 2-2. Interesting. Okay, next up, Sophie. This one's interesting as we go to the Den, where Millwall take on Sunderland. Sophie, both sides come into this on the back of back-to-back defeats.
Yeah, poor form.
Yeah, not great, to be honest. Millwall, they did amazing at Sheffield Wednesday just before that international break, and they've come back and conceded 6 across 2 games, whereas Sunderland have lost to Plymouth and Huddersfield, 2 sides obviously in the bottom half. not a lot to go off if we're looking at recent form. If you were to ask me who finishes higher out of these two this season, it's a pretty difficult one. Well, I think it is difficult.
I would say Sunderland, to be honest.
I think it's difficult because Millwall are always a team flirting with the playoffs, and I do think they will improve this season. Sunderland, yeah, we expected them to be in and around the picture. Do you know what? I will just avoid a draw here, and I'm going to go with the away side. They better not let me down because they have been quite a bit recently, but I'm going to go Millwall 1, Sunderland 2.
I feel like I say it a lot, but when both teams aren't in the best of form, they want a draw to then steady the ship and then push on. Millwall really need to work on the defence and then start pushing up because they're not really scoring many either. So need to work on the back and then obviously hope it has a knock-on effect up the pitch. Sunderland as well haven't been looking their best, so this is a really hard one to predict. But I'm going to say a draw, which I guess isn't a bad result for either team, kind of stops the rut a little bit. So a 1-1.
Okay, after all that, you go for a 1-1 draw.
Yeah, after all of that, just a 1-1.
Yeah, interesting. I think, like you said, both sides could maybe just do with a draw to stop them from losing.
Yeah.
Okay, next up, Sophie, we're going to go down to Home Park, where Plymouth Argyle take on Stoke City. Both sides were away in midweek. Both sides lost in midweek by 1 goal. Stoke losing 3-2 at QPR. I'm a little bit surprised by that because one thing I thought about Stoke City so far this season is defensively they've been pretty good. But, I don't know, maybe not. As for Plymouth, I thought they were fairly good against Coventry. Maybe Coventry were marginally the better team, but it wouldn't have been totally unjust if Plymouth had come away with a draw. And of course, Plymouth fans will be aggrieved about the goal and the manner of it. As for this game, Sophie, I think I'm going to go with Plymouth. I think they're going to get their first away win soon, but in the meantime, they've got to keep picking up those home points. And I look at this and I think Plymouth quite easily, actually. I don't know with Stoke City. They're actually pretty good, but like so inconsistent.
Yeah.
So, do you know what? Plymouth's a hard place to go and get results. Let's go Plymouth 2-0.
It is, but because Stoke do have that weird kind of form, I wouldn't be surprised if they went and got the win after that last result. But Plymouth, their home form is a lot better than their away form. Obviously, they've not picked up an away win yet, so they'll be looking to get back to winning ways. As we said, they'll be aggrieved to not come away with a point. But I don't think they did masses during that game to warrant a win either. So I do feel like they'll get back to winning ways in this one. But I'm going to say a tighter game. 1-0.
1-0. Interesting. Next up then, Sophie, we are going to Hillsborough, where Sheffield Wednesday take on Blackburn Rovers. Both sides have got to be happy with their results in midweek.
Definitely.
I know Sheffield Wednesday didn't win, but to get a draw against Leicester, considering it was bottom versus top, is incredible.
Yeah, great result. Even though it was just a point, it's a big point against the top side, so...
Yeah. Do you know what? I think they need to follow it up here.
Something.
Yeah. The thing is, Sheffield Wednesday are like, in moments, in the odd game, you think they could be okay, but they're so far adrift and they're not consistent enough. Do you know what, Sophie? Before this, I wrote down a Blackburn win. I'm changing it.
Oh.
I'm changing it. Because Sheffield Wednesday are going to win. Do you know what? I don't think I've backed them to win since the opening game of the season. But at some point they're going to get their next win soon.
And Blackburn.
Yeah, do you know what? I think they could. Blackburn, by the way, let's give them loads of credit. Yeah. I've been backing them most weeks recently. They've been brilliant. Smodix, what a player.
I know.
He's like the new Gyökeres to the division. I think he's like the top scorer. But yeah, do you know what? Sometimes there's a surprise you don't expect. Let's go for it here. And I don't know how it's going to happen, but I'm going to go for it. Sheffield Wednesday 3, Blackburn 2. I'm going for Sheffield Wednesday to win a bonkers game. Yes, I did write down Blackburn win before this, but I'm just being random. Why not?
Well, because you might end up losing, but I'm going to back a Blackburn win. I do agree with you that Sheffield Wednesday, at times, they do look okay. I don't think I've backed them to win, but they're making it hard for me to lean towards them, to be honest. Great point against Leicester, as we've just said. But Blackburn are in very, very good form, so... I'm not going to say it's a humiliating defeat, but I do see there being a couple of goals in this one. 3-1 Blackburn.
Interesting. We're both going really different
Very
there,
different,
aren't we?
yeah.
Share your thoughts on Sheffield Wednesday versus Blackburn, guys, down in the comments. Just a couple games to go, Sophie. Let's go down to the South Coast, where Southampton take on Cardiff. Southampton, big result in midweek. I did back them for a 1-0 win against Bristol, and they got it. Most important thing is, if you're in that sort of picture of the playoffs right now, is just keep churning the points on. I'm sure performance wasn't bad, but it's results over performances, or results with performances, should we say. Cardiff City being maybe a little bit inconsistent.
A little bit, yeah.
Good result at Deepdale at the weekend, and then they lose at home to West Brom. And I thought at home is where Cardiff City seems to be quite strong. For this one, so I think I'm going to go Southampton. I think Southampton are in a strong position. Got to keep the points being churned on. They've got Leeds just in front of them, West Brom just behind them. They need to keep these 3 points being added on. As for Cardiff, who knows? I wouldn't be entirely surprised if they got a draw, but I'll go Southampton 2-0.
Yes, Cardiff this season haven't looked a bad team at all. As we've said, little bit inconsistent. Obviously, they lost their last one, so they're going to want to get back to winning ways, or possibly just take the draw. But I do see Southampton winning this one again. And I feel like it's going to be another 1-0. So quite a tight game, but just Southampton edging it for me.
Interesting. Both going for a Saints win there. Next up, so if we go down to South Wales, where it's Swansea City versus Huddersfield Town. Both sides were on the road in midweek, and Swansea went away to Leeds, took the lead after 1 minute, but then it was level after 4 minutes.
Yes, I know. Crazy start.
And then it finished 3-1, which is what you predicted, so...
Well done me.
Well done you. Huddersfield Town, to be honest, Sophie, we did not expect them to go to Sunderland and win.
No, we didn't.
Brilliant result, especially when, you know, the best we probably thought they'd get is a Darren draw. They went and got a Darren win. Honestly, Huddersfield Town are picking up some decent results, to be honest, aren't they? Not setting the world on fire, but like...
Doesn't matter.
I don't know, just keeping that buffer over the bottom three. And Rotherham and QPR, I don't know, maybe they're just not being as consistent as Huddersfield. I do think Huddersfield do need to keep these points being churned on the way they are, though, because QPR have got a new manager. If they start chucking some good results together, who knows? But right now, I'm leaning towards Huddersfield being okay this season. They go away to Swansea. Swansea are a good team. No wins since returning from the international break. I think Swansea are favourites, but let's reward Huddersfield for getting a win at Sunderland. I'm going to go for a draw here. Darren draw. 1-1.
Nah, Darren, win for me. He's going to back up his last win with another win. Swansea, I like them, but as you say, you go 1-0 up in a minute, you think, oh, okay. And then to lose 3-1, not the best. But yeah, they're obviously going to look to get something from this game. And I think most people will tip them to be the favourites. And that's why I see a bit of an upset happening. So... Huddersfield win this for me. 2-1.
2-1. Interesting prediction, that one. Do share your thoughts, guys, on Swansea City versus Huddersfield Town. The final game is on Sunday, and we've got Bristol City versus Norwich City. Really is a very close mid-table battle, isn't it? I'm struggling to predict this one. Bristol City have picked up a win over Middlesbrough and then a defeat to Southampton since returning. Not terrible.
Not bad,
yeah, they've had 2 difficult games there. As for Norwich, they beat QPR and then they lost to Watford. I really could go for a draw here, Sophie, but I'm looking at the dugouts here and I'm thinking Bristol City have got a new manager, starting to build something, whereas Norwich City have stuck by Wagner and they did pick up a couple of results, but I just wonder if it's not really moving in any direction. So I'm going to go with the up-and-coming manager here for Bristol City with Manning, and I'm going to go Bristol City edge a close game 2-1.
Yeah, Manning has looked quite good since coming in, but I feel like this one might be a draw. I don't know why. I agree, if any team's going to win it for me, it probably would be Bristol City, but I just see a draw playing out, so I'll be boring. 1-1.
1-1, okay. Interesting. Do share your thoughts, guys. That's our 12 predictions for the Championship games this weekend. As I say, get your predictions down in the comments. Do make sure, of course, you've hit that thumbs up button. It is free to like, and it is free to subscribe. Thank you for joining me, Sophie.
Thank you.
We will see you all in the next video, guys. Peace out.